YouTube. It's weird. It is Wednesday, June 14th. I always have to look at my laptop calendar, what it says, to know the date, even though I have to change the date on the YouTube video every day. My short-term memory is absolute garbage. Anyways, we are loaded up on gold here, which is not typically how we start and not how we're going to. Let's get back on Forex Factory. I also just realized that I can set the view here. So the default view, I hope you guys can see this, you can change it to the week instead of the day, instead of having to manually do that. Didn't realize that until today either, so exciting times. Oh, my dog's coming over for some pets. That was early on. Girlfriend's staying in the room, but the dog wanted to come out for some water, so let's see if you guys can see my dog. She's not the smallest dog, and she really doesn't like when I pick her up. Oh, that is my dog. You can see she's quite skittish. Luna, speak. She did not like that. She's gonna run away now. Her name is Luna. She's absolutely adorable. She's very pretty and she knows it. And a little bit of background, she was a rescue from Iran. So we got her when she was 3.5 years old. She is now she's 5. She'll be turning 6 soonish. I think she's turning 6 this year. But yeah. She is fantastic with people and sucks with other dogs. She does not like other dogs, which makes sense in light of the fact that she was attacked when she was younger. Poor girl. Anyways, and that's enough about Luna and her backstory. We can start getting into the charts, I suppose. So we see the CPI news. We remember that was pretty negative yesterday. There was some GDP news which seemed to drop as expected. So I haven't really looked at the charts, not totally sure if that had much of an impact. Actually, when I looked at the charts, it didn't look like it had much of an impact, so I lied. We have PPI coming out, FOMC funds rates, the Australian dollar. So we will see. I am going to hazard a guess that because CPI dropped from 4.9 to 4.1%, which is a rough indication of sort of inflation, that the federal funds rate is going to stay the same and that the US dollar is going to drop because of it. So I am terrible at fundamental analysis. Please do not take this as trading advice. I won't be trying to short sell the federal funds rate decision, but that is just my guess. And part of the reason is because CPI dropping from 4.9 to 4.1 is a huge drop. You can see this quite precipitous drop. This suggests that inflation is starting to come down. And what they do is they raise interest rates to fight inflation, and these raised interest rates are good for the dollar. You know, they're good for bond yields. So if inflation is coming down, it means the raised interest rates are doing their job, which means there's no need to raise interest rates higher, which means in all likelihood there's no reason that US dollar value should continue to remain as high, and which suggests interest rates should start to come down as well. So these are all just like my sort of terrible understanding of fundamental analysis, but that's sort of my understanding of how it works, and that's probably going to shift over the next couple of years as I learn some more, but that's okay. I'm still early in the game, very, very early. Anyways, we have some Australian news a little later, some Chinese news, some news from China, Chinese news, that still works. Sounds racist for some reason. Anyways, and then tomorrow we have some Europe news, Euro news, USD, some more yen. I really don't expect the policy rate to change. It's been negative. It's been this way since like 2015 or something like that. Let's see, can we see how we don't even have price data points back enough? to show when it was different. That's amazing. Anywho, so that's it for news today. We got some dropping in 15 minutes and then the major ones at 11. Let's review the trades we're in. So GBPCHF, this is the trade we are currently in. We did end up changing the stop loss to break even, not stop loss, the take profit to break even. And part of that is because of this. If we look at it, so this is sort of what we're seeing here now. We have definitely this definitive uptrend. We've got higher highs, we've got higher lows. I'm expecting price to at least come down to this level before continuing higher. This is what we were looking at when we got into the trade, right? Like there's a pretty legitimate reason to get in. We had lower lows, we had this higher, we had this level here, and price ended up, it did reject. You know, we could have made at least, I would say, 1R on the trade, but that wasn't the goal. The goal was to make 3R. So we didn't take out any money on this. And then now price is reversed, and this is why it's important to be able to scrap these ideas and start fresh. So this is why you can see on my side here, which I shouldn't be showing, but you can see on my side here that I have 2 GBPCHFs. I have the one I'm currently in the trade for, and then I have a new one that allows me to see without the bias of my entry. And without the bias of my entry, I can see that we are obviously in an uptrend, and that it is worth my while not to expect price to, lost my train of thought. Not to expect price to all of a sudden come down to our take profit down here. And that in fact it's worth our while to get out of break even. We could try to target 1-to-1 or back down to 1250. I still think price could technically drop down that low, but it's not worth it. It's better off to get out of break even at this point. And I wish I had more data to back that up, but I don't have a lot of I don't have any break even trades in my trading journal at the moment, so we're just gonna do what we do. Right, so that's GBPCHF, and then the other trade we are currently in is NZDCAD. I think I mentioned at some point, I know I mentioned some point in the last couple streams that we were looking for price to reject at this level and continue higher to come back into the range of this channel. And sure enough, we had a bit of a signal yesterday. We definitely had this wedge support here. We had these couple market levels, and so we got in at about 0.8185, I think. And so the signal went out to the Telegram group, to the premium Telegram group, mind you. Stops were set at 30 pips. We're aiming for a 5-to-1. This is a pretty lofty goal. Typically aim for 2-to-1. Been trying to aim for 3-to-1s lately. At least that's sort of what my journal is telling me are my better bets. Anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5-to-1. I can make more profit that way. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of trades under. I don't have a lot of trades in that sample size. The sample size is only something like 40 trades, but yeah. I also kind of see that upside potential of if we do go back into the range and reach the highs. I mean, that's a 10-to-1 trade. I'm only asking for 5-to-1, so we'll see how that pans out. To be honest, the interest rate decision news or the PPI could come out and this shit could tank. But we'll see. Typically, if the US dollar tanks, the Canadian dollar will tank, so this should shoot up. But whenever I try to guess where fundamental analysis news is going, it tends to be the opposite, so fingers crossed I'm not wrong on this one. But anyways, those are the two trades we're in. We're in NZDCAD, we're in GBPCHF. The only other entries we're still waiting for are this entry for GBPNZD at 2039. Again, if you want to know why I'm getting into this trade, this one's less of a system trade, more of a discretionary trade. You can tune in to yesterday's stream where I go over why. I'm gonna open this guy up a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then the other two trades, we're still looking to get into a short for AUDJPY. Again, similar to yesterday, this isn't a limit order. This is just an idea. If we find confluences on other time frames that price is reaching a very strong resistance point across the yen pairs, then yes, we will get into this trade. Otherwise, this isn't a blind trade where we're just trading the yen or the Australian yen. We're trying to find confluence with other ones as well. And then AUDCAD, we were looking to possibly get in a buy at this level. Looks like price is already rejecting, so I might want to. I'm probably going to exit those trades. Looks like GJ was also in order. Yeah, we had an order down here. Jeez, GJ is just killing it. I'm guessing that was the... No. Just on an absolute rampage. Alright. Okay. Okay, so that's it for reviewing the trades from the last little while. Let's start getting into the analysis. AUDCAD analysis is pretty similar. We are not getting into this now unless we have a new high. So price needs to break, have a new high, and then if it comes down, then we'll possibly be looking for an entry. Otherwise, we stay out of this guy. AUDCHF, I imagine he's going sideways. He is. We analyzed this yesterday. Not much market structure. AUDJPY, we are reaching this sort of high here. So resistance, resistance, resistance. We've broken out of this channel, suggesting we're kind of oversold in this level. I imagine if I threw in an RSI, it would tell you we're overbought. Sorry, not oversold. We're probably overbought. Again, would like to find the confluence with the other yen pairs to see if there's other resistances that are being reached, and if so, we can probably try taking a reversion to the mean trade on whichever pair we think is weakest. AUDNZD, not much here, just way too bullish at the moment, not much structure formed. Going back to the hourly, AUDUSD, possibly look for a sell as a reversion back down, but we're trying to wait for this trend line to break, maybe a head and shoulders pattern to form, some sort of bearish structure or candlestick pattern is what we're waiting for to get into a sell here. CADCHF, could be looking for a buy. This is a nice sort of upward price trending action, but unfortunately I don't see very good levels of support. So these are kind of the only two decent levels I can see. Unfortunately, price also has failed to make a higher high, and we're getting close to this trend line as well as these levels here. So we shall see. I'd like price to be making a higher high before coming down to this level, but if it doesn't do that, we might not take that trade. CADJPY is coming up to this resistance level. See, we're trying to find confluence with resistance levels. So CADJPY, AUDJPY is creeping closer to his resistance. CADJPY is creeping closer to his resistance. Let's just go across the board right now. EUROJPY is reaching resistance. GJ is breaking well above this resistance level here. On the daily, he's still far away from any significant resistance such as here, here, or here. But he is quite bullish. He's a lone bull with how exceptionally bullish he is. NZDJ, still a ways away. And there's some resistance at these levels down here. Where price is right now. is maybe up here. UJ, I know he's sort of in the pennant, nice little breakout above it today, or yesterday. Across the board, it seems like a few of the pairs are reaching a significant level of resistance, so we could be looking to sell. But again, it's kind of difficult. They're all so bullish. These yen, well, the yen is so bearish that it's just difficult to try to take a reversal to the mean trade. CADCHF, once we start and break new highs, we can look to get into a spot for a pullback. Euro AUD. Not much there. EURCAD. Similarly, we're not getting a whole lot here. Let's get rid of this trend line. It's obviously broken out. It's not a very valid one. You could say there are some levels here. The trend lines don't add up to much. The price action is a little wonky, so we're just gonna move right along. Euro CHF, nice big break over this level. But price is unfortunately starting to crash back down. EUROJ reaching this previous price point. If you look on the daily, just wow, breaking above the highs back in 2014. I mean, if you're a breakout trend, if you're a breakout buyer, this could be an opportunity to buy a breakout, but that is not how I trade. So if that's how you trade, go for it. EURGBP again, just kind of monitoring. EURNZD, nice, still in this nice channel. Kind of overall sentiment appears bullish, but we're in this bit of a downtrend here. Possibly could look for a sell as price comes back up to this 176 level. For now, we just monitor. That could happen with news a little later. GJ, again, super bullish. We're looking for some sort of entry signal on a pullback. We had one down here. Unfortunately, price just didn't pull back far enough, and so we did not get into that trade. The EUROUSD looks poised to break out of this little channel to the upside. Let's get rid of some of these lines. Feel like we're not gaining much out of this guy right now. Him and GBPUSD, they're both in a very similar sort of phase. They've broken out of their respective downtrends, and they're in somewhat of an uptrend, but not really not much good looking price action. GBPAUD continues to float around the support level. GBPCAD, not a lot happening here. Possible uptrend potential. It's a very steep uptrend. Typically like to trade ones that are a little bit flatter. If price does break this high here, so I can see price breaking this high, coming back down, and then when it comes back down, getting into some sort of buy for continued price action higher. That's sort of how I would trade that. GBPCHF, this is the guy we've been trading. This is the one we're in the loss for. Our break even set at 1.135. GBPNZD, our entry set at 2.039. GU, similar sort of mirror to EUROUSD, except for quite a bit more bullish. Good uptrend here is breaking these previous highs. So definitely a good opportunity for a breakout buy. He had already rejected a couple times, but I feel like he's poised to finally break out. NZDCAD, the trade we're in. Oh, not too bad. Price is continuing higher. Let's see how that pans out for some of these other guys. Okay. NZDCHF. Not much there. NZDJ, not much. NZDUSD continuing higher. EURCAD kind of floating around the support still. USDCHF. Price is really getting destroyed here. If we can break this low, we can possibly look for some sort of entry back to the upside as a sell for price to continue back down to these lows of 0.88. But that might not happen for a while. UJ is kind of breaking out. Not the strategy I trade, but this is a bit of a breakout of this pennant. He is sort of retesting at this level and can continue higher. Again, I'm not going to take that trade. It's not my strategy, but if you want to, you can. US 30, nice little short uptrend. Same with US 100, US 500. They're all finally in congruence and quite a bit bullish. So we'll see how that goes for the rest of the day. I can't say there's anything in particular. We're gonna get rid of this guy. Let's look at everything on the 5 minutes, see if we can't see any good strategies. We're gonna quickly rip through the 5 minutes. If you have any questions or any analyses for any of the 26 major pairs, feel free to ask. But otherwise, already gone through the hourly time frames and just going on to some quick 5 minutes just to see if there's any potential setups. Again, what we're looking for are higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. And then seeing if we can't align some trend lines with some support and resistance zones or supply and demand zones. AUDUSD. Doesn't appear like we're getting much value here. At least it's a quick scan. Again, for this guy, we could probably get into a sell, but we're looking for price to come back up to somewhere around this level before we get into a sell. GGA is still very bullish. EUROUSD. CAD, I think I mentioned we're looking for price to break above this 1692 level and then pull back to get into a buy. GBPCHF, looking for it to go back down. GBPNZD, we're already looking on the higher time frame for a sell at 2.039. GU is starting to break above this previous resistance zone. We're kind of staying out. We could possibly look for a buy once he pulls back into the zone, but for now we're staying out. NZD, this is a buy from yesterday. Analyzed the charts yesterday, thinking about a potential buy into this higher time frame channel. Price created this good upwards wedge formation. We had this nice spike, this higher high, and as we came down we got into a buy. Otherwise, doesn't look like we're going to be getting much out of the rest of these charts. Not particularly. And then finally gold. Can't say I see much in the way of trading gold. Lots of support here at this level. We are getting some lower highs, however. I don't see much, even though we do have a bit of a pattern, I don't see how that's forming into a good trade opportunity at this time. That's it for today. I've got one viewer on and I'm about to sign off. Do you have any questions or any analyses you'd like me to make for any of the trade pairs? Going once, going twice, sold. Alright, I'm signing off. Wish you a wonderful trading day. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you again tomorrow at 5 a.m. Peace.